Hey everybody, it's Gomlex and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today I'll be playing a traditional draft of Baldur's Gate. This is going to be a best of 3 draft event, similar in structure to the Arena Open Day 2 this weekend. So just getting a little bit more practice in with this format in between all of the Innistrad stuff before that big competitive event this weekend. So without further ado, let's get into our pretty obvious pack one pick one here. We got a pretty nice bomb rare Shadowheart Sharon Cleric, a 2-mana 2/2 with Death Touch that specializes only if a player has 13 or less life, but if you do specialize them by discarding a card and spending 2 mana, you get a 4/4 Death Touch lifelink that deals the damage to each player in the end step. Or you can get some night tokens every time you lose life, or you can draw cards every time you lose life. All of the flipped versions of Shadowheart are pretty insane, and even the front of this card is quite powerful. Pretty easy pack to just slam the rare there, and I don't know what this player took. They must not want to be in red. They took a common out of this pack, maybe one of the top commons of the set, because Will, Pact-Bound Duelist, is a pretty solid rare. Again, 5 mana for a 4/4 with Specialize of 2 that flips into a bunch of different ways to sacrifice a creature. And the front half of this card, when it enters the battlefield, steals an artifact or creature with mana value 4 or less until the end of your next turn. So if you cast Will for 5, you get to steal one of their cards till the end of your next turn, meaning you can play Will on turn 5 and use Will on turn 6 to just destroy whatever you stole from your opponent. So it's a self-contained way to steal and sacrifice, which is kind of what the red-black color pair is pretty good at. So Will, Pact-Bound Duelist, really nice rare to get past there. Wow, Priest of Ancient Lore and Blessed Hippogriff are two of the best white commons in the set. However, Genasi Rabble-Rouser is also a pretty sweet red common, probably not quite to the power level of Priest of Ancient Lore and Blessed Hippogriff, but when we have a Will in our deck, we like to stick to red if we can. I think I'm going to take Genasi Rabble-Rouser here, but I don't think you could go too wrong with either of these two, just staying a little more open to seeing where the pack sends you that way. But really want to take Rabble-Rouser here. I suppose we could take one of these and potentially we end up cutting Shadowheart. This is only pick 3, but these black cards are not pick 3 quality, so it's possible we get cut out of black here and want to push into red-white aggro. Just take like Hippogriff here, but Rabble-Rouser's pretty sweet. I don't think it's too bad to take Rabble-Rouser over these two. Alright, pick 4 now. We have a Horde Robber, which is fine. You Come to the Knoll Camp is pretty filler. Portable Hole is okay. Minimus Containment is okay. None of these are like super ideal. Even the green cards aren't great. Not the craziest pack ever. We could take a Prophetic Prism to be nice and open to splashing stuff in if we need to do that, or we could just take Horde Robber. Horde Robber is probably the best on-color card. It's not that much worse than like a Portable Hole or Minimus Containment that are both just a little bit on the lower end in terms of removal power level. And not a super great pack. I'm just going to take a Horde Robber there. Ooh, alright, wow. This is a great sign for black. I was getting a little bit worried we were getting cut out of it, but we see a pack with 3 great black cards. The Guild Sworn Prowler, Death Toucher that gives you a card if it dies outside of when it's blocking. A Sepulchre Ghoul, good for the black-red color pair, but then also a pretty bomb uncommon. A 4-mana 3/3 that gives a creature +X/+0 each turn, where X is the number of cards in your graveyard, and when you flip it, it makes that creature really hard to block. In red-black, it would be Menace. In green-black, it's Trample, which is absolutely brutal. But yeah, Servok the Usurper, really hard to beat this card. This card is just going to make your 2/1s start attacking as like 4/1s and 5/1s and 6/1s. Really closes out the game. Servok, definitely the strongest card in that pack. Ooh, Owlbear in this pack, nice and late. That's pretty sweet. There's also Hobgoblin Captain and Nefarious Imp for sticking in black-red, and then Minimus Containment is fine removal. I do really like stacking up on the 2-drops, getting a lot of really aggressive curves going, so I like taking Hobgoblin Captain here. But Imp wouldn't be bad either. Would fill out our 3-drops. We don't have anything at 3 mana yet. Yeah, both of these are pretty interchangeable. They're both pretty solid role fillers in the deck. Neither are likely to get cut, but neither are massively exciting to have in the deck. I do like Imp a lot with Servok, having evasive creatures. I'm going to pick up the Imp here. get our first 3 mana card. Now we've got a bunch of filler stuff. Yeah, nothing massively good for anybody's deck in this pack. It's like a Thieves' Tool, which is fine if the game goes really long and things are all cluttered up. Reckless Barbarian is fine. 2 mana 2/2 on curve, and sometimes it lets you cheat in one of your big plays a little early if that can help you out. Yeah, Thieves' Tools or Barbarian here. Kenku Artificer is probably the strongest card in the pack, but that requires some work to get it to actually work, and I don't think it's worth hopping into another color to try to do that. I'm just going to take Barbarian. We have Chain Devil, which is fine. Each player sacks a non-token creature, so it's good if you get a lot of Sepulchre Ghouls and really expendable sacrifice creatures, if you get a lot of double team. So it could be good in our color pair, but Gate of the Black Dragon is just definitely good. It's definitely just going into our deck as pretty much a almost strictly better swamp. It does have to come to play tapped, but it's going to help us not flood out by being able to seek a non-land card. So pretty nice there. Baleful Beholder would be fine at the top end, pretty filler at the top end, or we could just take a pretty filler combat trick. Every single card we've taken so far is a creature, so I guess maybe we just take our filler non-creature spell right now over the Beholder. Sure. Take a filler non-creature spell, and now I'll take the filler Beholder. I'm not a very big fan of unexpected allies. I just haven't found a lot of good opportunities to cast this. I haven't found a lot of great places to take the turn off and cast this whenever it's in my hand when I've tried to run it in the past. So I'm pretty off that card, but I have seen it be good by in my opponent's decks. It just has never been all that good for me. Another Beholder or a Grey Slad. Grey Slad's just not really good unless you are the dedicated self-mill archetypes. Holding down the Alt key to see how many I own of everything, so I can just start rare drafting in the end, or drafting for my collection numbers. And it's all a bunch of commons I already have, and we open an on-color rare. Pretty happy to see that. Raphael, Fiendish Savior, 5 mana 4/4 flyer. Other demons, devils, imps, and tieflings you control have +1/+1 and have lifelink at the beginning of each end step. If a creature card was put into your graveyard from anywhere this turn, create a 1/1 red devil that deals 1 damage to any target when it dies. Raphael is a sweet rare. It also randomly works with cards like Nefarious Imp, that you might not imagine it does. It works with the Horde Robber. I was going to say, I thought we had like 1 tiefling in here as well. And of course it works all by itself as a great rare. Here we are, pack 2, pick 2. There is a Black Market Connections. This is a little too risky for my blood. I have seen this card be good. Newmont did draft this in one of his drafts and just use it really, really aggressively. He thinks the card's better than its win rate says. It's just that people aren't playing it aggressively enough. You gotta just slam it down and just start paying like 5 life a turn. But that is too terrifying for me. I'm not super into that. The whole fact that you have to pay every turn, you can't just choose not to use an ability, is really a double-edged sword there. So I'm not going to be so ballsy as to play the Black Market Connections. I'm just going to take my first removal spell in the deck, the nice cheap Dragon's Fire 2 mana instant for 3 damage to something. Would love to wheel Nefarious Imp, that'd be great. If we can't wheel that, Warriors of Tiamat would be fine. But we're definitely taking Dragon's Imp first. There's another Black Market Connections. We could be the double Black Market Connections deck. But no, I'll just take another Dragon's Fire. Don't really love Breath Weapon in this deck because we are likely to have a lot of 2 or less toughness non-dragon creatures. Don't think we'll find a great way to play that. But Dragon's Fire, targeted removal, that I think will work swimmingly. And here we have Hobgoblin Captain now, another nice cheap aggressive creature. Don't mind if I do. There's also Eyes of the Beholder, which is pretty expensive for removal, but if you're really lacking on removal, you can run it. Seal of Miracles are uncommon. This is pretty much unplayable in this format. I wouldn't even play it in the dedicated self-mill deck. You just can't really afford, in a format this aggressive, to spend 3 mana on something that's unlikely to impact the board for several turns, and even when it does, it doesn't impact it that greatly. Yeah, I'm just going to take Hobgoblin Captain. Alright, something pretty sweet at the top end of the curve, the Red Dragon, or we have the Cobalt Warcaller. Take something really sweet at the bottom of the curve or really sweet at the end of the curve. I like both of these a lot. The Cobalt Warcaller really helps fuel your double team cards. That being said, we only have the one double team card, and Cobalt Warcaller is the kind of card you draw it on turn 1, you live in the dream, you draw it on turn 6, you are really unhappy. So I like having just like one copy in each deck. Red Dragon is also kind of a one copy per deck card. You really just want to draw it late game. You're going to be really sad drawing it turn 1, but I feel like Red Dragon's the kind of card we're going to see less often. Hopefully we can pick up a Cobalt Warcaller in like the last pack. Really don't like running duplicates of that card. Pick up a Vampire Spawn here. Absolutely in love with this card. It works good in everything. If you're control, if you're mid-range, if you're aggro, doesn't really matter. 3 mana 2/3 is a nice body in this format, and it drains your opponent for 2 life when it hits the board. Very big fan of that card. Ooh, there's an Incessant Provocation, but we don't have any sacrifice outside of Will right now, so I don't think I'm going to take that. I actually am pretty excited to try to take Gut here. Gut is a 6 mana 4/3. When Gut enters the battlefield, she's going to have one of your creatures fight an opposing creature, and it doesn't even have to be Gut fighting, so she's a pretty sweet card. Has a nice specialize as well. Swashbuckler Extraordinaire is also pretty good. 3 mana for 2/2 that comes with a treasure. And you can sacrifice a treasure to give a creature double strike every time you attack, if you're interested in that. Two-handed axe is just a little trick and then an equipment, a little slow. Unexpected windfall, some card draw, a little expensive, and then chain double. Already spoke my piece. I don't think it's wonderful, but I think it fits the best here right now. Scoop that up as an option. Don't like You Find Some Prisoners very much. It would be okay in the sideboard though. There's some sideboard artifact removal. Because Jaded Sellsword, a 4 mana 4/3, that's not very exciting. We don't have enough treasures to really care about the first strike haste ability. We're not really a Summon Undead deck. I guess we could be. We've got a lot of 6s maybe. I'm actually going to scoop up a Summon Undead. I don't think I'm playing it right now, but it is an option. We'll see. Unexpected Allies and Iron Golem. Slam and Unexpected Allies in the side. Iron Golem just having to attack and block each combat if able means the second there's a 3 mana 3/2 on the board, Iron Golem is gone. Unless you have a deck absolutely stocked full of really cheap tricks, I don't really think the Iron Golem is where it's at. I'll just rare draft a Sigil. I'm not going to play a bunch of Unexpected Allies. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and take a moment here to sort my non-creature spells out of my curve, so we can really focus on getting that curve where it needs to be in the last pack. Looks like we really just need some mid-range creatures and some more non-creature spells for sure. We have 3 non-creature spells right now. Yeah, a tiny bit more 1 or 2 drops. Really just a couple 3s and 4s, and we're kind of set. So what do we have here? We have Bonecaller Cleric, which is nice, a 2-drop that can exchange itself for a bigger card later after Raphael or Will or something dies. I do like Bonecaller Cleric even in this kind of deck. I might take that. Swashbuckler Extraordinaire is also good. Faraday's Fireball is fine removal. If it wheels, we'll definitely take it and play it, because we are low on non-creatures, but I think it's between Extraordinaire and Bonecaller Cleric, these two non-creatures. I actually want to go for Swashbuckler Extraordinaire. Treasure token ability is pretty sweet, even if we don't use it to get double strike, even if we're just using it to help ramp into our bigger plays. That seems fine by me. Another Nefarious Imp seems solid. It's just a solid card in general, and it's really good with Raphael. And that's another mid-range creature, which is something we're looking for. Again, I'm passing up on another Fireball, but this is one of the weaker removal spells in red, because it is 5 mana, so hopefully at least one of those wheels, and we take it later. Alright, this is beautiful. Now we can take a Cast Down, which is really nice cheap removal. Destroy anything except a legendary creature for 2 mana at instant speed. Love to scoop that up. Valor Singer is also pretty good. I like having 1 copy of this in most decks, and I definitely would run it. I would take it if Cast Down wasn't in here. I think it would be the best card, but Cast Down is in here, and we do need more non-creatures, so slam that Cast Down in the deck. Another great non-creature spell, the Grave Choice here. 3 mana to have an opponent sacrifice a non-token creature. And if they happen to sacrifice a creature with mana value 2 or less, then you get a duplicate to your hand, so it's always going to be worth that cost. Like 3 mana, you're killing their 3 mana or greater creature, or if you're killing something that costs less than your 3 mana, you're drawing a card off of it. So Grave Choice is pretty cool. Pretty fun card. Oh yeah, we are really just getting all of the removal. Nobody's playing green. That's a pick 5 Oyamenartok, which is an incredible card. A 4 mana 4/5 that has hexproof until it deals damage. It's already a pretty good rate, and every time it deals combat damage to a player, you create a food, and you can sack the food to draft a fish, just getting a bunch of really big threats. That's insane. I guess I just take Eyes of the Beholder here. I'm not going to hate drafting Oyamenartok. And I'm not going to be able to splash a double green card in off of treasure tokens. Whoever's drafted green at this table is going to be really happy with how late that card is going to go. We have another Swashbuckler Extraordinaire or a first Valor Singer. Solid fan of both of these. I do really like Valor Singer with like Nefarious Imp and just with creatures in general. You have 2/2s and your opponent gets a 2/3 out, and all of a sudden Valor Singer makes sure they can keep attacking when they wouldn't be otherwise. Unfortunately, we see another Valor Singer. I guess I should have taken the Swashbuckler. Don't love running like a million Valor Singers, but 2 is still fine. This rare, it just blows up artifacts. That's all it does. It's not main deckable and limited. Iron Golem and Hook Horror. Not going to play either. Toss another Iron Golem in the sideboard. Toss an Earth Cult Elemental in there. I'm tossing these Beholders in there as well. This is the deck, right? 17 creatures, 6 non-creatures, 1 land. Yep, this is a 17 land, just full-on deck there. Got a Breath Weapon for the sideboard. That's actually kind of sweet. Thieves' Tools for the sideboard. Got some options of how we could swap the deck around a little bit in between games, depending on what we're playing against, so that's pretty cool. Playing against another aggro deck, we've got a Breath Weapon. We could slow things down with some more bigger late game plays. Try to overwhelm them in the late game. But yeah, I think this is the deck. We've got a couple 5-drops, 3 6-drops, so I think we can run a full 17 lands in here. Don't think we need to cut one. With Specialize as well, we're going to want to discard an extra land. And we're going to want the extra mana to be able to use effects like that. So Saravok, Will, and Gut. Those are 3 sort of mana sink style abilities, where we need to dump a bunch of mana into them and discard a card. Shadowheart as well. We've got a lot of Specialize. Yeah, I think 17 lands makes a lot of sense in here. I think we just run it as is. 13 red, 11 black. A little bit more red than black in terms of mana. So 9 mountain, 8 swamp. Seems good to me. Alright, here we have a look at the completed deck. This is a pretty basic, just Rakdos kind of aggro stuff. Just red-black good stuff. We've got a lot of bomby stuff going on. Our curve of smaller creatures isn't the greatest thing that I've ever seen. Genasi Rabble Rouser is one of the best 2-drops in the format, and we've only got 1 of them. We did not pick up that 1 Kobold Warcaller. Don't know, it would probably be better in here than this Red Dragon ended up being, unfortunately, so that may have been a mispick there. Other than that, we have a bunch of just solid like filler creatures at 2 and 3 mana. Nothing absolutely perfect in the early game curve, but what our deck is lacking there, it really makes up for in the power level of the kind of bomby sort of stuff we have. We have a Shadowheart, we have Saravok, which is a huge bomb, Raphael, Will, Pact-Bound Duelist, and Gut, Fanatic Priestess. All of those can be pretty massive bombs on their lonesome, so kind of just get out with a solidly aggressive curve and then try to close things out with one of those really big game changers. We've got some decent removal. Again, not the best removal package I've ever seen. Double Dragon's Fire, Cast Down, and Grave Choice is pretty great. And then we have like 1 Eyes of the Beholder, which is a little filler. And then for our other non-creature card, just a random little You Come to the Knoll Camp, just to fill out that slot. So, little above average. Not the greatest deck I've ever drafted, though. But I am excited to see how it plays, because I'm going to be excited to be dropping some bombs today. So without further ado, let's head into match 1. Here we are, round 1. We're going to play first, and we are going to keep Drop our tapped land turn 1 into Hobgoblin Captain. Maybe Swashbuckler Extraordinaire first, but probably Nefarious Imp. If I play Swashbuckler Extraordinaire first, it leaves me open to dropping Red Dragon a turn early, potentially. Which could be cool. Opponent is on black. They start with a swamp and a forest. Black-green deck here. This is going to be a matchup where we really need to try to outrace their big late-game plays, but shouldn't hurt as badly as usual, because we actually do have quite a bit of big late-game bombs as well in our deck. Black, green, and white, and Pilgrim's Eye it's gonna be. Pilgrim's Eye unfortunately really holds off the Nefarious Imp pretty bad. Turn 3 for us there. Really rough one. Drop this Swashbuckling Extraordinaire. And I think I'm just going to wait a turn and use this treasure to give Red Dragon, to cast Red Dragon a turn early rather than give the Nefarious Imp a double strike. It's a Scaled Nurturer from our opponent, still just ramping up from them. Expect to see some Hill Giant Herd Gorgers next turn, big old 7/6s that gain some life, but luckily for us, we've got an Eyes of the Beholder. Could wait a turn, get greedy, try to give the Red Dragon double strike off this treasure token at a later time, and just use Gate of the Black Dragon this turn. Probably not supposed to do that, but what's the worst that can happen? What's our opponent going to drop on us that we would have rather just curved out with Red Dragon here? Nothing? Absolutely nothing. Okay, so looks like it's going to go fine. They probably just have removal in hand, and they're just going to blow up Red Dragon whenever we play it anyway. We will find out this turn. Nice thing about Red Dragon is even if they have immediate removal, it did still get 4 damage in. Did accomplish a little something when it got cast, and looks like just no play from our opponent there for that 6 mana. They do have a Minimus Containment though. So Red Dragon is going to be defeated just at sorcery speed instead of instant speed. We have another Nefarious Imp. That's actually pretty exciting. Definitely like dropping another Nefarious Imp pre-combat and then attacking with our first Imp, sacrificing this treasure, giving it double strike and scrying 2 because we have 2 imps out. Get that land out of the way. And the second card, another land, get that out of the way. Almost like a draw 2 off of the double scry. Really good stuff from the imps. Alright, they'll take the 4, go down to 12. Think. Maybe they just moved from declare attackers to declare blockers here. Okay, no, they are taking the 4. And then we'll drop a Rabble Rouser, which is actually going to be our best threat on this board state, because it can actually attack into Pilgrim's Eye well. Should have been attacking with Extraordinaire, actually. Missed a little bit of damage there. I don't know what I was worried about happening to the Extraordinaire. Don't just want to throw it into combat willy-nilly, but they have 1 power on their board, so I missed like 2 to 4 points of damage this game. That was really sloppy. Alright, another land. Got a triple pump for Rabble Rouser. Probably attack all. Let an imp trade into a Pilgrim's Eye. Doesn't seem like the end of the world. We get to scry 2 when that happens. So we may want to sideboard in some Baleful Beholders to blow up their Minimus containments. Only seen the 1 containment though, but still definitely an option. want to dump extra mana into extra damage to them, or do I want to hold up Eyes of the Beholder? I'm going to play it pretty safe here and hold up Eyes of the Beholder. Deadly Dispute, they're going to go ahead and draw 2 and get a treasure token. They have 6 mana up now, thanks to their treasure token, and 4 cards in their hand to think about. I can imagine it's a Hippogriff, because white looks like they're splash here, but they could have just drawn awkwardly. It could be like green-white splashing black or something. Arcane Archery, it is. That will defeat my Nefarious Imp unless I throw an Eyes of the Beholder at that Pilgrim's Eye. Don't think that's worth it. I think we can let them beat the Nefarious Imp here. And we will blow up whatever they cast next turn because it's going to be even bigger and have reach and trample. We need to blow up that next play. So let's get some scries off Nefarious Imp. See what we've got on top of the library. Some good stuff, hopefully. We have a You Come to the Null Camp. We can make 2 creatures unable to block. Which is interesting. That actually might be able to find lethal, especially with the ability to give double strike. I'm gonna keep this, see how that works out for us. Did we blow up? Now we have lethal. Even if they play 2 extra creatures this turn, because we blow one of them up with Eyes of the Beholder, and then we just say 2 of them can't block and attack with everybody. Double strike on a Rabble Rouser and buff it up a bunch. So we're just hoping our opponent taps out for some big creatures like they're doing right now. There's an Owlbear, and we hope they spend the rest of their mana on one more creature here. So we know they don't have any instant speed interaction. Blue source from our opponent. Splashing in a lot of stuff. Green, black, splashing white and blue. Don't believe there's any 5-color card in the set. Ooh, Vampire Spawn. I don't know if we find lethal through that. Probably do. 11 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I gotta do math here. Okay. So we would have to spend that to turn off their creatures, and we could only pump twice. We pump both Rabble Rousers twice. That's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh yeah, with double strike, that's lethal. And Raphael on top, just in case. Alright. And that will be game 1 in the bag. So, we know our opponent is a splashy, kind of rampy sort of deck here. Splashing in whatever kind of bombs they want off color. Looks like they splashed in Minimus Containment off of the white for removal. They have Arcane Archery to keep in mind. Pull out the notepad. Keep track of instants. They could have Arcane Archery. It's the only instant we saw. I guess we saw Deadly Dispute, but it's much lower on the list of having to play around it. It's not really going to kill any of our cards out of nowhere. It's just going to
let them block and draw some cards when they block. So yeah, Minimus Containment is the only thing I think we have a sideboard to really go after. Don't think Thieves' Tools is necessary here. They didn't have a ton of creatures, so hopefully we can just blow up the ones they do. Could play Baleful Beholder over something. Don't think Breath Weapon's particularly good here, or Earth Cult Elemental. We play a Baleful Beholder, we just take out like a Chain Devil. Chain Devil does seem really bad in this matchup. We're going to play a Chain Devil and they're going to sack a 1/1 Pilgrim's Eye. Something like that. Curve gets a little wacky here. It's a little extra top-loaded now. The filler. There's no peanut butter and jelly to the sandwich now, but that's all good. Bread is delicious. We'll just eat the crust. Play one Baleful Beholder to maybe get out of a Minimus Containment and flip things around. Alright. We'll definitely keep this hand. Got a 2-drop and a 3-drop, and if we keep hitting lands, we've got the late game plays at the ready. And even if we don't keep hitting lands, we can sack the Barbarian to play one of them. So, as this is round 2 and we did win the game, our opponent gets to be first this time. They are going to play Follow the Tracks. Splash in one of their other colors. They're going to get the white source here. Alright, well, I'm going to have to update Magic Arena after this round. Servok the Usurper, I've got one of those. That's a good card. From what we've seen from their deck so far, that shouldn't be the most terrifying thing ever. So I could just slam out Red Dragon like right now by sacking a Barbarian. Since the Barbarian can't really do anything against this 3/3 anyway, that doesn't seem horrible to me. We also get to scry off of Nefarious Imp. I'm kind of down for that jam. Scry 1, get a cast down. Servok is legendary, so cast down's not going to kill that, but it's still nice to have that for their next potential threat. They're going to Minimus Containment the Red Dragon. Well, Baleful Beholder on turn 6 is going to do what we wanted it to do from the sideboard. Going to ruin our opponent's plan there. Hit for 2 more, they're down to 10 now. See what they've got for us. Turn 5, another turn we'd love them to just like tap out for an Owlbear or something. You can just cast down it and keep slamming in, but they don't have the double green for that, so that won't be the play. But we'll see what they've got here. Triple black, a white source, and a green source. 5 mana up. They just passed turn. We do have to be a little worried about that Arcane Archery coming back, making Servok a 6/6 blocker with reach to kill our Red Dragon. So really hoping they tap out their green mana here. Jaheira, they have tapped out of their green mana. That's unfortunately another legendary card, so cast down's not going to do much to that. They could specialize her just to gain some life here. Or they get to blow up our treasure token, actually. Oh my god. Yeah, they're mainly doing this to gain the life, but they get to blow up our treasure token too here. And they just surprise play around our Baleful Beholder. Wow. Well, that went really well for our opponents. And Jaheira's too big now because she's been specialized. She's too large for Gut to beat in a fight. Taking 4 from Servok. It's really rough. Now they have a creature in grave too, so Servok is giving +1/+0 each turn. There's a Dragon's Fire. We can get rid of Servok with that. We're either killing Servok or just playing a Beholder this turn. I think playing a Beholder is fine. We're at 16 life here. We don't need to kill Servok immediately. And that is so disappointing, that Jaheira. Alright, well now we know they have 2 Minimus containments. At least. We only saw 1 in the first round. Brave choice. Jaheira's technically a 3 mana card now that it is specialized, even though they cast her for only 2. We don't get to put a copy of her in our hand with this grave choice. So I think we Dragon's Fire Servok so we know we get to kill both of these cards, because if I played grave choice and they sacked Jaheira, then... Or if I play grave choice and they sack Servok, then I can't Dragon's Fire Jaheira because she's too sturdy. Let's do that and then grave choice. Make them sack Jaheira here. Last turn. Hook Horror. It's pretty annoying, but it is on the ground. Do I have a lot of good ways to use this treasure token, or should I just scry one now? Because we don't have the second Baleful Beholder in the deck anymore. I think I'm just supposed to scry off of this at this point. Eyes of the Beholder. I think I get rid of that here. I think I'm just looking for more threats right now. And Servok is exactly what we want to hit, so really nice we scried that away and just immediately got Servok now. Because that closes out the game in just 2 turns. They are down to 5 if they can't get rid of our Imp or our Servok. Game is over. This is what I'm talking about, where Servok is so good with evasive cards like the Imp. Just put all that damage in the sky. Opponent is going to band together to shoot Servok. We can cast down response and that will counter band together, even though Hook Horror will still come back to the board. And our opponent is just going to scoop them up. That is going to be 2-0 for round 1, a victory in the first match. Has been a while since I did a traditional draft, so if you're unaware, the way that traditional drafts work is it's going to be 3 rounds no matter what. We get to play 3 best of 3 rounds of Magic. And if we get 3 wins, we get huge payout. We get 2,500 gems, 6 packs, and 2 play-in points. Those are for the qualifier play-in event. If you have 20 play-in points, you get to enter a qualifier play-in event without spending any gold or gems. So you can turn those basically into some more gems for your collection. My apologies about the giant angry chair sounds. All right, let's head into round 2. Here we are in round 2. I did forget to reset my arena, so I got another angry message from the client telling me I need to restart. They're going to disable matchmaking in 10 minutes. We can keep this with Horde Robber on the play. Blow up whatever they have to block it with the Dragon's Fire, so we know we get our treasure tokens and try to use that to get an early red dragon if we hit more lands, and if we don't hit more lands, we'll have to just use the treasure for Valor Singer. Alright, here we go. Let's get some Horde Robber action, shall we? Opponents on black, white. They start with a Steadfast Paladin. that I will definitely blow up here, I think. Actually, I don't need to. I can play a 2-3 and we can block it well with that. And Valor Singer buffs the Horde Robber, meaning it gets to attack in as a 2-3, and the Paladin can't block well there. So they need a combat trick to do anything with the Steadfast Paladin. Another black, white, and green deck from our opponent. Hopefully no Underseller Myconid. That card is the bane of aggressive decks' existence. They could go for a double block on Horde Robber, and then it doesn't work unless they have Hippogriff in hand. If they have Hippogriff, they can give Indestructible to whatever I try to Dragon's Fire. It's probably safer to play around the Hippogriff and just Dragon's Fire a card right now. I think I'm just going to Dragon's Fire Steadfast Paladin. So I was going to say, otherwise I just do that pump and I attack both and they can like double block Horde Robber and just let the double block happen. So where they'd be fine with it because they're trading into the Horde Robber with one creature. And they probably wouldn't use the Tears Blessing unless I tried to use Dragon's Fire, and then I'd get really, really got by Tears Blessing if they had it. Alright, grave choice. They have to sack the Bard or sack the Null Hunter and give me a card. Is that worth it? Or do we just play Red Dragon? I think we just play Red Dragon. I'm going to play the land first, so I only have to sacrifice one of these treasures. Kind of okay trading Valor Singer into Inspiring Bard. Yeah, pretty okay with that. Trade up. Get that out of here. Minthara of the Absolute. Now this is going to be a really rough choice for our opponent. Lose Minthara or give me a Null Hunter. They're going to give me a Null Hunter, and I will definitely cast that. Hit for 4 in the sky, they're down to 9. And here is the Null Hunter that will attack alongside Red Dragon as a 3-3 because of its Pack Tactics ability, giving it a +1/+1 counter. There's a Pilgrim's Eye from our opponents, so they can chump block Red Dragon. If they try to do any combat tricks, we have Eyes of the Beholder up. If they don't, we'll play a Hobgoblin Captain and Seek off of our Gate of the Black Dragon. There's a Shadow Heart from our opponent, which is theoretically scary, but I'm not that worried about it. They could flip it to the white version. We know they have a Plains in hand, so they start getting a bunch of 2/2s on the ground. That won't help them survive Red Dragon. I'd honestly be the most worried about the black version because it has lifelink. So I think I'm actually going to just play the Eyes of the Beholder on Shadow Heart here if I need to. Can't really attack with Null Hunter if they leave Minthara back, can I? No. So just Red Dragon sending in. It looks like a chump, and it is a chump. Minthara's intensity rises again as she shakes vigorously. Now, if they specialize Shadowheart, we'll respond by Eyes of the Beholdering it. If they don't specialize Shadowheart, I can just hold on to this thing and Seek with Gate of the Black Dragon. They have 3 cards in hand, only 2 that we don't know about. They are going to specialize Shadowheart to green. Can't be blocked by creature's power 2 or less. When you lose life, it gets bigger. It's not... You don't have to kill that yet, still. And then they play a Null Hunter. So they just have a green Shadowheart and a Null Hunter as their plays. Okay. Guess they're just trying to, like, outrace us here. I still don't think I have to kill that. I can take 6. And it's definitely, it's safest to do so. Or just kill Minthara. Killing Minthara feels like probably better here, because then we take less damage, because the intensity goes down. And then we can crack back with our Knoll Hunter, which is going to be a 3-3, which they can't block with theirs. Yeah, we can very much outrace that. And we have lethal on board with Dragon's Fire. Because now this 7 damage guaranteed gets in. Cool. 1-0 in round 2. Take a look at that battlefield there, see if there's anything to sideboard around. I don't think so. We didn't really see any instants. We saw exclusively creatures from our opponents. It did have nice specialized cards like Shadowheart, but our Dragon's Fire is our best play against that. Just Dragon's Fire in response to them specializing. Other than that, I mean, Minthara's kind of scary, but again, we just play removal against Minthara. That's how we play around that. Nothing really in the sideboard to play against that. So very creature-heavy deck is all we've seen. We don't know what kind of removal they have. We don't know what kind of combat tricks they may have. I think I just run it back here. Yeah, I'm gonna run it back. Same as before. So opponent on the play for round 2. We've got a Rabble Rousers, a Horde Robber, and a Red Dragon, and an Eyes of the Beholder. Great hand again. Opponent starts with that turn 2 Knoll Hunter. Am I more tempted to get my double team value? Excuse me. Am I more tempted to get my double team value off of the Rabble Rouser or to get treasure tokens off the Horde Robber? I think it's really unlikely we get treasures off of the Horde Robber because it's just a 1-3, so they can just hold Knoll Hunter back and block it all day long. But Rabble Rouser, because of its fire-breathing ability, we can threaten to pump it up big enough to kill their creature if they block. So now, if they double block, they can kill our Rabble Rouser, but we can kill their Knoll Hunter, and we draw a card in the process. I think we do attack with Rabble Rouser. And if they double block, we kill Knoll Hunter. Keep their power down so it takes longer for them to draw cards off of this Owlbear Shepherd that they've played turn 3. They need 8 power on board during their end step to draw a card off of Owlbear Shepherd. This card is really good though, that's not that hard to do. You could go wide with a bunch of 2 power creatures, or you could just play one big one. Very, very scary card. You get to double up here, play a Horde Robber and a Rabble Rouser. Pass the turn. Your opponent is down to an Owlbear Shepherd and Flaming Fist Officer on board. So a 1-4 and a 2-2, but that 2-2 gets a +1/+1 counter whenever another card leaves their battlefield. And here comes a Pilgrim's Eye. They are now disabling matchmaking for those who have not updated the client, so that's me. Bet you're wondering how I got here. Okay. I think I have a Trelasara down. I didn't see any life gain last game. No, I saw Steadfast Paladin. Don't know how scared I am of that. We're definitely not attacking in now. The board is just so massive that we just pass turn and then use our Gate of the Black Dragon. We're threatening to pump up our Rabble Rousers a bunch. It'd be really hard for them not to have 8 power this turn. They're probably going to start drawing off Owlbear Shepherd. But maybe they ran out of creatures here. That would be nice. Alright, they ran out of creatures. They only have 6 power on the boards. They don't get to start drawing a card each end step off the Owlbear. So we seeked a Valor Singer off of our Gate of the Black Dragon. And we'll just play a red dragon and see if they drew a removal spell this game. If not, maybe we'll just have a repeat of the last game. They don't have instant speed removal in hand, or they would have just done it right there with all their mana up. They do have Minimus Containment, another Minimus Containment matchup. Put that in the notes for Baleful Beholder if we lose this game, which is starting to look like a solid chance because Owlbear Shepherd being active is really hard to compete with. Said this about a lot of cards, but if you are in a game of limited and one player is drawing twice as many cards as the other, that player is pretty much twice as likely to win, and our opponent is drawing twice as many cards as us. It feels really bad, but do I even have to just Eyes of the Beholder the Owlbear Shepherd here? I honestly think I do, or they're just going to overwhelm me with just pure numbers. I feel like the start is probably too slow here. I think our opponent's got a good shot at this one. Because now they've got a 3/3 Flaming Fist Officer. They have whatever they drew, which was a black dragon. Good lord. Seems good. Just gonna attack everybody. They've got the Sylvan Shepherd Trelasara combo. Yeah, no, this game is not going in our favor. And a Scry to the top, so more gas. Lying in wait. Valor Singer, Grave Choice it is. Taking 5 in the sky here. No, we definitely don't have this one. Another Flaming Fist Officer, and a Priest of Ancient Lore. The vast majority of their deck is just a mountain of creatures, and then like a Minimus Containment. So if we Grave Choice, they just sack the Priest now. I guess I should have done that in response to them casting it. It really matters here. I'm just really in it to get more information on their deck at this point. Horde Robber doesn't matter right now. We'll let Horde Robber die to a Trelasara. Just double block with the Valor Singers on the Shepherd. Swashbuckler Extraordinaire, we are just dead in the sky. Alright, a mountain of creatures. Ideally we just go on the play and maybe draw a bomb. I mean, that was the main difference that game, is just we were on the draw instead of on the play, and ran out of gas pretty quick. I think this is a very winnable matchup. Don't really think there's anything we want to change about our deck. Maybe you come to the Null Camp, maybe Chain Devil actually. Something for Baleful Beholder. Breath Weapon does kill Flaming Fist Officers before they get the counters. And Trelasara. Breath Weapon's kind of exciting. I might put that in over you come to the Null Camp. Does kill our own cards too, but we can just play it when it's opportune for us, because we've got a lot of 1/3s and 2/3s. So there's going to be opportunities to maybe cast that pretty well, and then trade Chain Devil out for a Baleful Beholder for that Minimus Containment. See how this goes. And just by virtue of going first, it should go quite a bit better for us than last game.
We are definitely playing first. Oh, maybe I spoke too soon. This is a really rough hand, but I really want to keep it. We have 17 lands and we need just one of them. Doesn't even have to be a black source. I guess Will's 5 mana, Gut is 6 mana, so we need more than one land drawn here. But one land gets us the Extraordinaire. I think I have to mulligan. This is arguably worse because it's so slow. But it is high impact. Guess we just keep it. Rid of Gut. If I'm not drawing lands, it's likely I'm drawing 1 to 3 mana cards anyway to play, so I'm gonna get rid of a land here. Because, like, what happens if we don't hit lands? Then we just cast whatever we're drawing. Whereas if we do hit lands, maybe we flood out. Turn 2 Shadowheart. Not like this, please. It's gonna be like this. Turn 2 Shadowheart into turn 3 Priest of Ancient Lord. Really great draws from our opponents. Alright. We got a rough mulligan into a hand that doesn't play anything till turn 4, so we're gonna have to try pretty hard to come back here, but our hand is full of bomby stuff. Unfortunately, our opponent has the absolute curve out against our really slow hand here. Will takes anything that costs 4 or less? Yes, so I could take Minthara from them. So we kill Priest of Ancient Lore, let the intensity rise, and take Minthara. For now. Could play Raphael instead. I think I just play Will. We've seen 1 removal spell from our opponent in 2 games, so if they don't have that 1 removal spell here, this should really flip things around for us. They don't play like Minimus Containment on Will. What happens if they Minimus Containment Will? We still control Minthara for 1 more turn. We don't have another way to sacrifice her. We could play Gut if we hit a land. So if they do have that Minimus Containment in hand and we hit a land, we're still good. Okay, no Minimus Containment, just more creatures from our opponent. So now we have to figure out how do we use Will here? We can sacrifice Minthara to get an additional combat step, or if we discard Raphael, that's probably not going to happen. We can draw 3 or have our opponent pay 5, so we just get an additional combat step, I guess, by sacrificing Minthara. But Dragon's Fire we can use on Shadowheart. And then we still have the mana up to discard Guts or Valor Singer, which we definitely want to do. Probably Dragon's Fire, attack all. And they have 3 power on the board. They could double block and kill Servok, I guess, but they can't block Will well. They double block to kill Servok. We kill their Owlbear Shepherd here. Okay, they don't go for any double blocks. They just go down to 4 life. Second, we do untap Will. After this, there's an additional combat phase and an additional main phase. So we attack with Will again, force them into a chump here. Yep. If I discard Raphael, I could guarantee draw 3 because they can't choose to lose 5 here. But I think I discard one of these. If I don't draw land, I'm definitely playing Raphael, so we can discard Valor Singer.
rather chump with the Owlbear Shepherd than the Null Hunter. I guess that makes sense. Null Hunter does have more power, so it's more likely to be able to trade into one of our creatures. And Owlbear Shepherd, they're just not going to have 8 power on board for sure. There is the Minimus Containment now. Luckily, it did wait for us to win that fight, so we can play Gut or Raphael here. Like Gut, that gets us a really good attack immediately. So we have Gut fight the Lifelinker, and then Servok gets in without any risk of trading off. They're just forced into chumps all day long. Down to 1. There's Viconia, Nightsinger's Disciple. That's a pretty scary card. Probably going to be too slow here, though. We can give both creatures on our board Menace if we discard a red card, and that'll guarantee lethal. They're putting Dragon's Fire, exiling Dragon's Fire with Viconia. Viconia can only bring creatures back to their hand if they specialize, so maybe that's just so we can't have any recursion of our own. But yeah, Viconia exiles a card from a graveyard, and they can specialize for 2, discard a card, put the exiled card into hand if it is a creature. Opponent has specialized Viconia. I'm guessing they did not know they cannot get the instant into their hand. Wouldn't have mattered here, they can't afford the instant right now, which means when we flip to red and give both of our creatures Menace, it's guaranteed lethal regardless. So that is going to be 2 match wins now, guaranteed. Have a solid run here, a 2-1 at worst, getting 1,000 gems and 3 packs, but now we're heading into the final boss. We're competing for some great rewards, 2,500 gems, 6 packs, and 2 play-in points, so the big prize is on the line as we head into round 3. Oh yeah, that's right, Arena wants me to restart. Alright, let's update Arena. Here we are in the final round of this traditional draft. We will be on the draw. Game 1. Got to turn to Horde Robber and at Grave Choice if we hit any land. His hand pops off if we can get multiple hits off of Horde Robber, but it doesn't really do anything if we can't. So I think I have to mulligan. This is a lot better. We'll keep that. We're on the draw here, so I'm tempted to get rid of a land. Because if we get rid of a swamp here, we hit any land, we're casting Imp and Valor Singer. Pretty bold choice, but I'm going with it. We have double Dragon's Fire and Cast Down now to help survive. If we don't hit that 3rd land, and we have hit the 3rd land. Guildsworn Prowler's such an obnoxious card. I want to just take 2 damage from it all day long, but I don't want to have to 2-for-1 myself to beat it. Which I suppose I will have to do eventually, so might as well kill it right now. Probably should have killed it during my turn so they couldn't just Hippogriff here. Alright, 3rd mana from our opponent, Nefarious Imp is the play. Play Valor Singer here. On the current board state, it's more likely to get to attack in than our Nefarious Imp would be. The imps would just trade. Viconia, Nightsinger's Disciple. We're getting that thing the heck out of here immediately. Opponent has some kind of instant here, but it could just be Viconia's ability. They could very much have Hippogriff, because I don't think they would want to Hippogriff to save the Guildsworn Prowler. But they would want a Hippogriff to save Viconia. Oh yeah, they're holding the white up there rather than exiling our Dragon's Fire from grave. I mean, we'll Moment of Truth it. If they try to flip Viconia, we're going to Dragon's Fire in response. Send both in. Yeah, alright. Show me the Hippogriff. Ambushed on the road, okay. That works too. It's actually way better than if they had Hippogriff for us, because at least we still got them to spend a card to save Viconia. But no 5th land for us means no Raphael. We are far on the back foot here. Pretty incredible deck from our opponent with a really nice curve out. Not really doing much of anything. The Guildsworn Prowlers are absolutely killer for our deck. We just can't beat this card well. Get 2 for 1 every single time that does anything. Especially on the play. I guess Imp is the best we've got. Which is pretty bad. Now Viconia is going to get the ridiculous 3 for 1 because Viconia is going to pull a Guildsworn Prowler and Guildsworn Prowler is a 2 for 1. Flipping to white so they get to immediately put it on the board instead of having to pay for it as well. And we just cannot compete with these Prowlers. What's that card called? You're ambushed on the road. I'll keep that in mind, I guess. They probably don't block, but if they kill this, I would be very happy. Then we get to play Raphael and get a Devil token. No blocks means we're definitely dead. Just a desperation attack there. I don't want to show them Raphael if I don't have to, and we are guaranteed dead. Since they didn't block, we hit for 3, then we play a land and play Raphael. Raphael blocks there, we take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 exactly. So that is why I just snap scooped there rather than showing them more cards in a position where we're dead on board. This is a brutal matchup. That is a phenomenal deck from our opponent. The Guildsworn Prowler is really a killer card against us. Just a killer card in general. A really cheap 2 for 1. It's kind of like Priest of Ancient Lore, but it costs less. It's just so impossible to block that thing well. Because you're losing a creature and your opponent is drawing a card if you block it. You're down very, very far. Try to Breath Weapon multiple of those things. Works on imps too. Not so sure how great this trick is going to be to succumb to the Null Camp, so we can play Breath Weapon over that. We didn't see any enchantments or anything though. I think we really just have to hope we can leverage being on the play as well as possible. Yeah, Guildsworn Prowler is just brutal. Viconia is very, very good too. So not being able to actually kill the Viconia with our removal there also helped seal the deal. Got them another Guildsworn Prowler. Alright, turn to Shadowheart. I'll keep that. Grave Choice is pretty good against Guildsworn Prowler. They will draw a card, but we'll get a Guildsworn Prowler into our hand as well. This hand is looking really nice. Shadowheart on 2, Raphael on 5. There's Guildsworn Prowler. They probably have like 3 in their deck, which is incredible for them. Really good deck, for sure. Now Guildsworn Prowler is our backup play later. Well, I guess Chain Devil's pretty bad right now, so we're probably playing Guildsworn Prowler this turn. Don't want to use removal on Shadowheart, that's all good. We have not spent an extra card into it or anything yet. Casting a Guildsworn Prowler off a double red. Let's go. There's Lulu, Forgetful Hollyphants. And Guildsworn Prowler gets to do its thing, where it's just impossible to block it well. And we could Chain Devil here. Get rid of Lulu. Might have been better to Raphael, but I like Chain Devil here too. That's what I'm going for. Breath Weapon's looking pretty bad this time. Ambition's cost. They're going to draw 3, lose 3 life, go down to 11. Take some big hits here. Now this is a devil, right? Yeah, it is. So we're going to get a big lifelink swing this turn. Go up to 23. Now they blow up Raphael, but we still have a Chain Devil against their empty board. Grim Wanderer is a very big card that will trade into our Chain Devil, and Shamlagast is an annoyingly small card that will trade into our Chain Devil. God. Just a nuts deck here. I guess we Extraordinaire. We get Double Strike. Because then we do first strike damage and kill the Ghast before Chain Devil takes any damage, and Chain Devil won't die that way. So kill the Shambling Ghast without losing Chain Devil. They do get a treasure token here. And post-combat we can play the Imp. Now that's, now that the Ghast is gone. Because if we played the Imp pre-combat, they would have just killed the Imp with the Ghast when it died. Now our board is wide here. We can attack all, and that's lethal on board. See what happens, though. I guess it's not lethal on board. They just have to trade Grim Wanderer into Chain Devil. Gonna Grave Choice us. Guess we sack the Imp. No, we sack the Extraordinaire. We don't have treasure tokens anymore. Get another Imp. Seems good. They're gonna take 4. Kill our Imp here. Okay. Could Breath Weapon, but that kills my Devil too. I'd rather just play more threats to go wide. I'm cutting Breath Weapon. That was a bad addition. Alright, they scoop them up. And if that game is anything to go by, this matchup is pretty much decided on who goes first. It's not a good thing for us, because they went first the first time and they'll go first the third time, so that would be the 2 out of 3 in their favor. Yeah, Breath Weapon was super bad there. You come to the Null Camp just doesn't seem very good either. Really don't think we have any like magical good cards against this deck. We just kind of have our main deck. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep this random little trick in here. See what it does for us. Well, opponent snap keeps, which makes me scared, but got Grave Choice on 3, Chain Devil 4, Raphael 5. I think we have to keep this, but probably about to get absolutely slammed on the play, as is just the format, as is just the matchup. Oh, no 2-drop at least. That's a start. No Guildsworn Prowler there. Just a Ghast to start it off, actually. Okay. Things seem kind of okay right now. Chain Devil's really bad by its lonesome. Keep hitting us for 1. Do they need that treasure token badly? Yeah, I'm not gonna kill that Ghast if they don't have a 4th mana here. This is actually way different than I thought it was gonna go after the snap keep from opponent. Maybe it's all interaction. It's gotta be all interaction to kill Raphael and stuff here. So we play Shadowheart instead. Get Shadowheart killed before Raphael does. Grave choice us. Are you That's absolutely ridiculous. Sick. Dragons fire our own Shadowheart? Good God. That feels insurmountable. They're just gonna pass turn. They don't even play the Shadowheart. What is going on in opponent's hand? I guess we're just playing a red dragon. Could grave choice them if we can kill this ghast and they play just a Shadowheart alone, but I doubt they'll do that. So I think I just let ghast stay on board and play a red dragon. Must be instant speed removal, I guess, in our opponent's hand here. I don't think we saw any grave choices until game 3, and now they have double this game, which is absolutely brutal. The second one wasn't bad, but the first one was really, really bad. If we'd seen a couple grave choices earlier in the match, we probably wouldn't have just ran out Shadowheart on an empty board. And now we're getting mega killed from it, so we get massively 2 for 1 there. Yeah, that is so brutal. Alright, we just Dragon's Fire their Shadowheart and play an Imp, I suppose. They have their Ambushed on the Road again. Just in hand at the perfect time again. Of course they do. Not a single thing is gonna go right in the final game. There's no way we get a card to die here. We can gain life off of our Imp. Unless they have you hear something on Watch in hand as well. Double Grave Choice, Ambush on the Road to save Shadowheart, Minimus Containment. They have to have another removal spell to kill Imp here. Alright, prove it. No removal yet. Do I get 3 extra life off this? Can I survive at 8 life? 8, take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No. They have something in hand though. They're waiting here. I guess I block the 2-2, I survive. 4, 5, 6. Maybe they do have you hear something on Watch, but they're going to use it to buff the field and kill me. Sick. They have Grim Bounty still. And we're just dead. That was as brutal as you can possibly get. That was really frustrating. No hate on my opponent. They drafted a really good deck and played really well. But that was absurd, absolutely absurd stuff there for the final round. And it is going to be 2 and 1 for the black-red deck. Trying to think if there's anything we could have sided in there, anything we could have played better. We definitely could have played a little better probably, but most of the bad things that happened to us were like unreadable things like, oh, we actually have double grave choice in the deck, so we're just going to grave choice your Shadowheart and play a bomb rare of your own against you. 3 mana to remove your creature and draw a bomb rare seems like a really good deal at instant speed. Brutal. And then they had their 1 copy of Ambushed on the Road to save it from Dragon's Fire when we tried to do that. Like, maybe I should have went for my initial plan of like Dragon's Fire on the on their initial little ghoul so that we could try to grave choice back our Shadowheart at a later time. That's one thing that I was considering. And I figured, well, the time that I could have done that, they were just holding Shadowheart in hand and they had a second ghoul, so I think they would have just went Shadowheart, second ghoul, or second ghoul, then Shadowheart, and just played around the grave choice we had there. That was an incredible deck from our opponent. Double grave choice, Grim Bounty, you hear something on watch, Ambush on the Road. Ambush on the Road isn't even that good, it's just they had it at the perfect time each time. Rough stuff. Not much else to say. Deck played really dang well. Lots of great cards. Super good on the play. It beat the incredible deck our last opponent had when it was on the play. Just lost every game on the draw, which definitely happens in this format a lot. A lot of aggressive matches. So that was definitely a contributing factor, even with that ridiculous hand our opponent had. Maybe we had a shot if we were on the play. Definitely not with how things ended up, though, on the draw there. I don't know. Not much to say. Not much positive to say here. I'm just sad and salty right now, so we'll just end the video here, grab our prizes, and get ready to move on to the next draft. So we'll be playing another traditional draft of Baldur's Gate tomorrow, and then we have the Arena Open this weekend. That is going to be sealed Day 1 and traditional draft Day 2. If I make it through, get a 7-win run in the sealed event. So big Baldur's Gate stuff on the horizon, and then after this weekend, we are free from this format, and I will probably not touch it again until it comes back as a flashback draft sometime way in the future, because after this weekend, we're rotating through all the old standard sets. Crimson Vow, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, Streets of New Capenna, and then we're playing a bunch of cube drafts until the launch of Dominaria. So a bunch of cool formats we haven't played in a while to play over the next coming weeks. So that's what's coming up on the channel. If you're interested in checking that stuff out, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to let the YouTube algorithm send you some more of these videos in your recommended feeds. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.